Well, the family of a missing soldier making a desperate plea for information on their daughter, their sister's disappearance. Army medic Kelli Bordeaux, here's her picture. She vanished after a night out back in April. The search for this 23-year-old young girl continues today after a forensic team said remains were found near Fort Bragg, and they're telling us they were not human remains. Joining us now, Tom Ruskin, former NYPD detective and investigator and president of CMP Group Security. Hey, Tom, good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Ainsley. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. I know, and it just breaks my heart talking about this story because we're all celebrating with our family, and they have an empty chair around their table this Thanksgiving for the first time, and they want some answers. They were on Fox yesterday, the sister, the brother, pleading for answers, and there were some remains that were found. Everyone hoped it was going to be, you know, a human remains so that someone could have some closure, but we found out they were not human remains. What do you make of this?
Well, I think that the Cox family keeping it in the media is a good thing. It puts pressure on police to reevaluate. I think at this point in time, it's now 6, 7 months old. They have to re-look at the case. Someone else has to take clean eyes on this case. And police departments all over the country do this routinely. They call it a cold case. They have new investigators come in. Some of the things that they want to look at: what she did that night in the bar, who she was talking to, who she texted, what cell sites they hit when she was texting. Every single time you text or get a voicemail, it comes through a cell site. And then you have to look at that guy Holbrook who took her home that night, the sexual offender who drove her home and is now in jail for an unrelated crime or violation of his probation. You have to look at him, and then the text that came in supposedly 40 minutes later saying she's home safe.
So she disappears from a bar at 1:20 in the morning. She went out with some of her friends. This guy works at the bar, took her home. Her husband happened to be down in Florida visiting relatives. And this guy from the bar takes her home, the guy you were mentioning, Nicola Holbert. He was questioned twice, ruled out as a person of interest. How is he no longer a person of interest if they still don't have any information on this girl's disappearance?
Well, just because they don't say he is a person of interest doesn't mean he isn't. You have to look at every single thing that happened that night and the way she made it home, and then any evidence that exists. I don't know if they did forensics on Holbert's car, but that's one of the things I would be looking at. I'd be looking at cell phone calls he made. I would get a subpoena to look at cell phone calls he made. He is definitely a person of interest in my mind because he was the last to be known or seen with her that evening, and he admits to that.
I thought this was interesting when I was reading about this story. The girl's cell phone was on for a few hours or a few days maybe. It was on until the battery died. They do know that the cell phone didn't leave the Fort Bragg area. She had her cell phone with her that night. She texted her family members when she got home saying, "I'm home safely," 40 minutes after she left the bar. But I was thinking, you know, with the cell phones and safety for all of us, in your experience as an investigator, how can you track someone's whereabouts with a cell phone? And do we always, if we're in that situation, keep your cell phone on so that police can find you?
Absolutely. Keep your cell phone on. There's a thing that the police can do which is called pinging the cell phone. What it allows police to do is determine by triangulation where that cell phone or the general area that cell phone is in. If that's, first, we're not, going back to your point, someone texted the family saying that she's home safe. We're not sure it's her. She could already have been in trouble or been hurt by that point in time. So keep your cell phone on. Keep it as close to you as possible. And if you can, dial 911, and that will automatically triangulate into the 911 system.
Well, I hope that we can find some answers for Kelly's family on this Thanksgiving Day. Tom Ruskin, good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Tom.